We still got C God and Mondo in the house. And we got the one and only WIIM in the house. What's up, man? How you feeling?
Yeah, feel good, man. I feel good, man. I just had some canes, so.
Oh, you had some canes?
Yeah, we good, we good.
Hey, how you enjoying the music? Mondo's killing over there, huh?
Hell yeah, bro. Some good shit, bro. Some
Shout
shit
out
I
to
ain't
Mondo.
never heard, too.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Rolling after this, bro. Shit.
All right, so WIIM, at WIIM_the_musician on Instagram. Check them out. Tell us how you got started. Where did it all begin for you in your music?
Shit, man. Well, it all started in a composition notebook, bro. I was probably like 14, 15 years old. Started writing poetry.
Mm-hmm.
It actually started before music. It was just writing in general with like essays and stuff like that. I was never like a big fan of school. You know, I still passed and graduated and everything, but
Yeah.
I hated school. Except for English. I don't know what it was. It just came to me naturally. You know, like the teacher would be like, you got to write an essay, and everyone's like moaning and groaning. I'm like, well, what's so hard about it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I like writing. I like expressing myself through words. And I just have a knack for the language. I like to think, you know? So it just started with that. My mom actually pointed it out, and she's like, you really have like a way with your words.
Yeah.
You should see if you can do something else with it. So it kind of started off with poetry. But in my head, I always had like a beat with it. I always had a rhythm. So I kind of, when I transitioned from like the poetry to actually putting it on beats, it was already fit. You know what I mean? So that was probably when I was like 15, 16. And
how long ago was that?
well, I'm 23.
Oh, okay.
So
8 years ago.
bad at math, like I said.
Okay,
I'm
cool,
not-
yeah. Gotcha.
But yeah, I was like 14, 15, and my brother actually sent me. He was in the military at the time. I didn't really like know him because he had been in for so long.
Yeah.
And he sent me a mic like overseas, and he's like, "Yo, just like do with it what I couldn't," because he was a producer, singer,
Mhm.
and ended up going into the military.
Mm,
Yeah, he kind of passed it down to me, and I was like, it's meant to be. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
started recording, learning how to engineer myself, and just pretty much doing it all myself. As far as the vocal editing, it got better and better.
Yeah.
Started performing at dive bars. Shout out Jaspers. I don't know if anyone knows Jaspers. Hopefully not.
Where is that at?
Hopefully not. It's in Santa Ana off Bristol. It's actually closed down now. I drove by it the other day. I got real sad because it was gone. But
Damn.
and then
when you were writing in these classes, when you were writing poetry, was there anybody you looked up to in terms of a non-musical person that you were like, this is a good writer or something?
Not really, because I hated to read. I don't know how I got all these words in me, but
You hated to read, but you like writing.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know
Hey,
how
I
that
think
works.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
But
You're like, why do I have to read this? I can just make my own stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
But no writer really, just Slim Shady at the time.
And then,
Yeah, the first album I ever listened to, like front to back in my entire life, was the Eminem Show. That one and Get Rich or Die Trying by 50 Cent.
That makes sense. That was around that time. So, what did you write about in these books? What were the topics that you covered?
I usually covered like emotions.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff goes through my head like all day, and still to this day, I feel like I'm very in touch with, reality, but also how strong emotions can affect reality. So mostly just emotions. If I had a bad day, I'd go home and I'd write about it, or if I felt like I was in a cage because my parents were strict at the time, I'd write about wanting to be free, having $1 million in my own house. You know what I mean? And then, you have a good day, you go out, you go party,
Yeah.
you write about a party,
Yeah,
it's
partying,
basically every song is an event in my life, and every single song that I have, you can literally play it, and I know exactly where I was when I was writing it, usually, and I know exactly where my head was when I wrote it, and I know, like, what sparked, the song. And I have a lot of songs, so.
Yeah. When you mentioned your parents, they were really strict. How at what point were they like, all right, you can do whatever you want? Because there had to be a point where you were like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, I kind of said I was done first before they kind of let me like off the leash. It took me saying that to them in order for them to be like, all right. It started with smoking weed. They hated that I smoked weed, and they found out when I was like 16. Eventually, I had to stop. I stopped for like a year, and then they said they weren't going to drug test me anymore, and then they tried to again when I was like 17 or almost 18.
Yeah.
And I was like, go ahead and waste your money.
Yeah.
And they called my bluff and brought it home again, and I was like, shit. Man. I was like, you know what? Get the refund for that, because like you're gonna find hella weed in my system. Like,
Yeah.
and then they had me on lockdown for like 6 months, and after that I was like, I'm still gonna like just like the days you let me out, like I'm still going to. So eventually they just kind of got over it and saw that it wasn't affecting my direction. And for me, it actually improves my motivation sometimes.
I can see that. I can see how it would spark more creativity or What do they think of your music? I didn't mean to analyze you like this.
No
I'm just
problem.
interested.
Say bro. Just put me on the spot, bro. It's all good. They like it. They like my music. At first, when I was younger, my mom didn't like it because she didn't like the whole music scene in general because like she grew up on like gangster rap and all that. Yeah. And her father was actually a famous musician in Mexico. And he was dealing with like bipolar disorder and like alcoholism and like like eventually cancer and all that stuff. So she didn't really want me to go down that route. She wanted me to go to college and do something else that had to do.
Have you seen the movie Coco? That reminds me.
Yeah.
It's like the same.
Yeah, it's the same thing. No, it's the same thing. It actually kind of reminded me of myself in a way. They weren't like that against it, but my mom strongly persuaded me not to get into that industry. She was like, just anything else, please, anything else. Like, you're gonna end up with all these tats. She was right about that, but it's
what are you gonna do?
It's what I live for. I feel like I find my identity in music. So can't nobody tell me nothing about that.
Hey, that's cool, man. You made your own way, and it's paying off big, man. You have a big following on social media, and you're making good music. That's something I gotta say.
Thank you.
When you write music now, is there certain topics you won't cover?
Is there certain topics I won't cover?
Yeah, like somewhere you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna go there, bro.
I mean, yeah, you gotta have a filter. It's kind of just like everyday life, like you're gonna speak your mind to an extent if you're that kind of person, but like some people just don't have a filter and you end up getting like popped in the mouth eventually. You know what I mean? Yeah, you gotta have a filter. You gotta keep it, I guess, somewhat, politically correct, I guess. But for the most part, I'm actually pretty raw with it, and I really don't have too much of a filter as far as holding back my thoughts. But I don't know. It just depends on what kind of song I'm going for. Like I'm trying to do like songs for Red Bull, so I can make a song without cussing, like no problem. You know what I mean? But I can make a song for the club, talk about whatever it is you do in the club, and then I can. It just depends on what audience I'm really going for. So no, there's not really things that I won't touch on because I really like to keep it real, to be honest.
But I like that you challenge yourself. The fact that you know that you can make a song without cursing is interesting because some people don't even think about that. They're like, oh, I'm just going to say whatever I want into the mic. But when you said you're trying to make some songs for, what did you say, Red Bull?
Red Bull, yeah. Red Bull Entertainment. My dad actually has like a contact with Red Bull Music, Red Bull Studios. I guess they're in South Africa, so we'll see how that goes. Thank God for the internet, Yeah, we're working on that. I wrote a jingle for them. And hopefully, someone over there, picks it up, and I guess if they like it, then they'll fly me out and record it over there in their studio, and maybe put it on a commercial and maybe get some royalties, eat off that. We'll see. Like I said, I like to keep every door open that I see possible.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that because you're trying to make money off this music thing too. Like Pusha T, not many people know he wrote the part where it says "I'm loving it" for McDonald's. So like, if you can do that and make your own way like Pusha T, then there's nothing wrong with it.
Pusha T wrote that?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Shit, man. I'm glad I came down here, dude. I did not know that.
White bricks, I'm loving it.
Exactly.
Wow. So do you grew up in Orange County? Is this where you're from?
Orange County, yeah. I live in Orange right now. All the houses I've ever lived at have been in Orange or Santa Ana. So.
What do you think of the music scene out here? Do you know a lot of guys out here?
Yeah, it's man, if I had like a penny for every time I said it's a small world in OC in general, then shit, I wouldn't even need to rap anymore. There's so many people trying to do it out here that deserve more recognition. I could shout out a lot of people right now, but I'd be here forever. There's a lot of people in OC, LA also, but I'm just waiting for someone really to blow up, in OC. I mean, Young Pinch did it, and I was actually just talking about this today. Like, no one was really putting on OC, and it kind of bothered me because I went to Powerhouse, and it was in Anaheim. It was like in the parking lot. It was like the pre-show or whatever, and like Joey Badass, Dizzy Wright, and Hobson, and all them were there. And they were shouting out because it was a Power 106, so it was like a Los Angeles-based radio station, and they kept saying like, "What's up, LA? Make some noise, LA." I'm like, bro, put some respect on where you're really at. Like, we're in Anaheim right now.
Yeah, it's not.
You know what
LA.
I mean?
Yeah.
So shout out to Young Pinch for putting on OC, and G-Eazy actually shouted him out, King of the OC. We'll see about
That's
that.
Crazy.
But
we'll see about that.
Coming for that.
But it's cool. It's cool that they're shedding light on Orange County.
Yeah.
The juice, we like to call it.
Yeah, I like it. I like when they actually say the name of the city or Orange County when somebody comes in, because you know it's more genuine than just LA.
Yeah, I get
Somebody
the
said
politics.
Hollywood once. I was like, what the fuck? Get out of here. They were like,
Shout out to Vince Staples. He always gives love to Orange County.
what is that?
Vince Staples. Vince Staples always showing love to Orange
Oh,
County.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
not he's from Long Beach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Vince Staples, and then
That's
Joey
nice.
Badass went on Power 106 and said he fucks with the Observatory a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, when Kendrick was here at the Observatory for the King Kunta concert, he was like almost crying. He's like, Santana fucks with me so hard, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh
yeah.
shit. You know, it's good to see people appreciating it. Is there anybody you want to work with? You said you didn't want to shout everybody out, but name a couple people that you are excited to work with in Orange County that you want to.
Oh, jeez. Well, right now, my boy Vin's Zanity, Mr. 168. He just brought me out to the House of Blue, so shout out Vin if you're watching this shit.
Yeah.
Chrissy G, she's dope. I want to work with her. We've actually, all these people I've talked to about doing music with, but I really haven't just yet. Juice County Entertainment, shout out Hippie. I got a music video with him.
Hippie C?
Hippie C, is that what he goes by? I just know him as Juice County Entertainment, and then he just goes by Hippie. I don't know if it's Hippie C, I don't know.
Oh, that would be somebody else. Yeah,
It might be, it might be.
Yeah.
But yeah, my boy Hippie, Juice County Entertainment.
I think,
Anyone I'm
yeah.
forgetting? Anyone I'm forgetting? You guys know?
Yeah. No, I think it's fair. I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of people out here, so
Yeah, there's a lot.
don't feel bad if he left you out. There's still. What do you hope to accomplish with your music? What are you trying to do with it?
Go platinum.
Platinum?
Know what I mean? I think that's like a pretty basic goal, but it's not basic to do.
Yeah, because I know some people use it as like an entrance to some other industry. We've had people on here that are like, oh, I want to be in the fashion industry. This is my way of getting that popularity. So you want to go all the way with music, right?
Music is, like I said, who I am, but like I'm down to do like, like modeling, like clothing brand reps,
Yeah.
maybe a little acting,
Yeah.
production, all that stuff. I want to own my own studio eventually, like once I fizzle out.
Yeah.
Still make music, but I want to own my own studio because I'm an engineer. I do all my own engineering out of my own pad.
Yeah.
So that's definitely like my longevity.
How did you learn how to do the engineering?
A lot. Honestly, my first studio recording was at this man's house right here. His stepdad actually put me on. He was an engineer himself, so he literally taught me like how far to be from the mic and what the waves are supposed to look like and stacking the hooks, doing like layers and like doing overdubs and ad-libs. I don't know what the hell that was. And actually at the time, he's like, who you remind me of? I was like, who? And he said Kendrick Lamar. And at the time, I said, it was so long ago that I said, who is that?
Oh, fuck.
A year of audio engineering as far as vocals and production too. So I got it from mentors. I got it from, self-taught. Just recording a lot.
Yeah.
And
I think that
cool.
pays off though, because now you're not relying on anybody else to do it for you. Now it's all you.
Exactly. Now I just need to get on the beats now because like those get really, really expensive because I'm on like Spotify and iTunes and all that. So you got to get everything legally cleared because what if you do blow up off like something you only lease nonprofit, you got the wrong license for it, and
It's so complicated.
Yeah, it's more complicated than I even knew. Into the game. Still
even
learning,
me
but-
trying to use a beat for like the podcast version of the show, it's like, oh, it's $150. I'm like, you know what? Never mind. I can't do it.
Cut that part
I
out.
love this beat, but fuck, that's
For real.
tough.
Yeah, I've had people try and charge me like a rack or 2 racks.
Damn. Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I don't know you like that. Bro.
What else should people know about you in your music?
Should people know about me?
What do you want them to take away from your music?
A message that is catchy. Because I've always told myself that like I see the difference. There's a fine line between underground and mainstream, and I like to be like the best of both worlds. Because I notice people that are underground, they have a lot of creativity when it comes to how they tell their story. They're very descriptive. They say a lot. But I noticed they're not as good at making it catchy or memorable. That's why people are just hip hop heads only listen to that. Like like radio heads or younger kids don't really listen to that anymore. It's kind of like behind us as far as like like A-list.
Yeah.
Right? And then you got your mainstream where they're really good at saying more by not saying as much. They don't really describe everything as much. It's kind of like the same topic. It's very predictable, but at the same time, it's still very contagious. So I try to take the contagiousness from mainstream and the creativity and storytelling and descriptiveness and depth and etc. from from the underground and kind of piece it together.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
wanna
that's the perfect way to do it because you want it to be catchy, but you also don't want it to be shallow. You know.
Definitely.
Okay. Last thing. This is what I ask everybody. What is your favorite thing about hip hop?
That anybody can do it. You just gotta believe in yourself. It's not something that you can get really denied from.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't need a piece of paper that says, "Oh, I got a degree. Now we can hire you. Now we'll look at you." It's really just up to you. There's no guarantees either.
Yeah.
Which only motivates me to work hard at the end of the day. So.
I like that, man. I
Yeah.
like that. WIIM at WIIM_the_musician on Instagram. Follow him. We're gonna play some of your songs right now before we
Let's get it.
perform. You perform, not me. What am I gonna do? What's the first song we got over there? What are we gonna do first, Mondo?
I'm gonna cue up Demons.
Demons? All right.
Sounds like interesting. I'm about to play this shit right now.
All right. Why don't you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about the track before we play it?
Demons. You'll hear me say my demons ain't shit.
Say my demons ain't shit. Hey, my demons ain't shit. Hey, say my demons ain't shit. Hey, my demons ain't shit. Make some motherfucking noise here.
And I kind of wrote that when I was in a not so good but still a good place. Like physically I was looking around and I was, farther forward than where I was last year, but mentally just was losing friends and like just people were turning on me for, God knows why. And it was just kind of just like, how do I get through this and keep going? Because I'm at such a good pace. I have way too much ahead of me to screw this up, at this point. So it's basically saying my demons ain't shit because at the end of the day, that's what you got to tell yourself because your demons are always going to be fighting you, so you got to fight back. If you give up, then that's it. You're KO'd. But if you don't give up, then you have a chance. You know what I'm saying? Even if it is 1 in a million, I'll take that. You know what I mean? So that's what this song's really about.
My demons ain't shit. Shoes off, sweats on, blunt lit, Chevron, smoke gas, that's strong. My demons ain't shit. Big stage, lights on, blunt lit, Chevron, thank you, I'm gone. My demons ain't shit. Can't feel my face, can't feel you fakes. Gravity tried to keep grabbing me, but I don't feel no weight, cause I'm floating, See the drama, I'm ghosting. Yeah. Why you acting petty? I don't need that. I could really give a fuck about your feedback. Tell your mom that she should've took a plan B.